Hi James, hope you're well. I apologize for the delay in getting this out to you. I needed to implement an enhancement as well as wanted to adjust the quote output a little bit more so that it matches Jacob's examples that he had sent. I've created a demo account for Jacob and started creating some of the items, the products, and services that he had provided in his old quotes. So I'll go ahead and do an example of me creating one of those existing quotes, and I'll go through the different ways how a quote can be created. So I'll start with creating a new job. In this case, I've already created a customer on Core Projects. That's what what Jacob had in one of his examples. And let's give this job a name. New build, maybe it's a different unit. Wait, this is a larger project. And now I can add some notes and descriptions about things that I will be doing for this job. So I've made a couple notes here. So we have a kitchen, about 20 meters of cabinetry, bar cabinets. Can provide a start and end date when I think this project will commence and end, how long it will take. We can upload any job related files, so um, maybe some floor plans, any photos of the job site, anything that's useful in quoting this project out. Now I have created the job and I can start building the quote for this job. And as I mentioned, I created a few of the products that Jacob had in his quotes. So I've renamed it a little bit. They're not exactly 100% match of what he currently has, but I think that's one way of how quote can be created in QuotingCentral. So let's start off with creating the cabinetry for the kitchen. And there are a couple different ways of how each line item can be defined. The first one is using just your own um, products and services that you upload into the system. So in this case, I have uploaded a product called 2-pack soft close cabinetry, supplied and installed. For this, I calculated a meter price, and this meter price will then be used for all of the future quotes that Jacob may create, and the price and the quantities are then captured and are kept track of, so they can be either overridden for a future quote or kept at this number. Since I'd already done this one time here, the quantity is 20.25. That's correct. Um, we can, in order to define more details for this task, we can click the more details here. We can define all the inclusions. So I already pre-populated this with the inclusions that Jacob had provided on his quote. But we can also go through and actually capture it on a more detailed bill of material level, defining materials, labor, and any other fees. So I'll go ahead and I'll just leave this as is. Um, Next, we had the appliances and bar cabinet. Again, for this one, I have created a line item. Here we had 7 meters at 1230. Let's add a new section. Now, this is the bathroom. And here I had copied Jacob's pricing. Let's add a new section. This one is laundry. Cabinetry. And 4.46, that's correct. Coats cabinet. And 405 for the coats cabinet. New section for the living area. And again, all of these are captured with the inclusions that Jacob had defined in his sample quote. Now, obviously, any of these inclusions here can be overridden, and this can be created as a new component. And finally, we have the master bedroom cabinetry. Here we have 21.27 meters. And let's add the final section, the master ensuite. And here we have the ensuite cabinetry at 3 meters. So this is just an example of one of Jacob's quotes. I'm happy with all the line items here. Next step is to go into preview. This now assembles all of the information that has been defined, as well as um, any options that are set up. So in this case, I created a default cover letter for Jacob that he could obviously change. I've uploaded his logo, added his terms and conditions, any footers that he wants to have. And this is then used in conjunction with the account information and the line items, and it creates a PDF document with all of the information included. Right now, this is a detailed pricing example. If we don't want to show line item pricing, we can just come here and with a flick of a switch, the new quote is generated where now I just have the descriptions and the quantities and no line items are shown. Let's turn on the line items again. The same for applying markups or including or excluding GST. So if we don't want to include GST in this quote, we can just switch it off and the GST values are removed and our totals are recalculated. We'll go ahead and include GST in this case. And now the final step is to send this quote to a customer. Again, this is all pre-populated with some defaults, so not much needs to be changed here. And from here, then the email can be sent out. Now, because I haven't verified this email address, I can't send this right now. Let's now go back. Let's assume that this email gets sent to the customer, and the customer actually would like to has a change request, would like to make some changes to this quote. So we have a couple different ways of how this can be handled. The first one is we can go head into the original quote and modify that, or we can duplicate the original quote. And this creates a copy of everything that we have already defined, so we don't have to re-enter all of that information. And now we can go into this and let's give this a new quote. Let's assume maybe the customer would like to add a pantry in the kitchen. So I'm going to just go back to the kitchen section and I'll show you another example of how a line item can be added. So for anything that hasn't been already created, we have a database of over 30,000 different construction related tasks, services, materials. Pretty extensive catalog of joinery and kitchen cabinets. So we can just drill down here, and in this case we said we want the pantries. And we have a lot of different options for how a pantry can be laid out and some pricing example for it. So this is, let's say it's a pantry full height 2-door, and we want it to be a 4-shelf polyurethane shadowline finish. And then finally the dimensions for our pantry. So let's do a narrow one. This brings back a list of available items from the catalog. So just choose the first one. And now this item has been added with a a default price. Now, this price is the industry average price point that we have determined. So obviously, this varies greatly depending on the finish, the manufacturer, the brand, the location where this is to be provided. So this is just an indicative price. You can either use this price, or if you have your own prices, you can just override this, and next time this item is selected, it will use the new price that you have provided. So let's say we charge 1,200 for this. And now another thing that the customer has requested is that we do some demolition. So I'm going to just add a new section here for demolition work. And the second method of how you can add line items is you can just create custom line items that of things, common things that you do. So let's do cabinetry demolition. As you type, the system searches through our database and sees if it can find any matches for what you're typing. So in this case, it found a couple examples. So for removing and disposing cupboards, laminated top wall cabinets, the system is recommending $56.85 per linear meter, and we have let's say 10 meters of cabinets to remove. That's one way. Another way is we can just create a new component, new line item. Let's call it remove cabinets. Cabinets, and I'm going to actually define this by going into details and say, okay, for this we are going to um, need some scrapers, maybe scrapers. It's two scrapers each, and they cost $25 a piece. We are going to need extra labor, and that's going to be at 8 hours at a price of $35 per hour. And we also need to hire a demolition gun at 1 day, $300. Done. This now creates a custom line item for me, a custom item in my inventory. So next time I can just choose this remove and dispose cabinets, and it will bring back all of the details that I have defined. So now this quote is good. I can just go into the preview again, make sure everything is as I have defined, and everything looks good. And again, we can now send this quote off to the customer, and the customer can then either let us know by phone or by replying to the email that they have accepted this quote. Once they accept the quote, we can do a bit of quote management here. So coming into looking at the job, I can see I've created two quotes for this job, and the second one, quote number 6, is what they have accepted. I can come here and change the status to approved. This now goes into my forecasting and scheduling, so I'll know what jobs will be coming up. If we navigate back to my job screen here, we can see all of the jobs that I have either upcoming or that are actively going on. We have high-level calendar functionality where we can do some job management. So maybe this job we need to do after we have done or finished the other unit, so we can move this around in the calendar. And simple changes like that. We're still building this functionality out, and there will be quite a few new features added to this as well. I hope this was a good overview for how to create a quote in QuotingCentral and how we could help someone like Jacob uh, with our platform to basically be able to create quotes very quickly without much hassle. Basically, create a quote within a few minutes based on the information that they have set up. Please reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to make any adjustments that you guys may need, and I look forward to